One Punch Man is without a doubt the strongest character in his universe, and he may be one of the strongest characters in all of anime. But just how strong is he? Today, I'll be covering everything from his strength to his battle tactics, starting off with speed. Most people who think of Saitama tend to think of his strength, but what they miss is the fact that Saitama can keep up with S-rank heroes known for their speed.
I am a Class S hero, and you are a Class C hero. We are still listed under the designations of Genos and Saitama.
We first see just how fast he can be when he goes up against Speed of Sound Sonic in Season 1, Episode 4, The Modern Ninja. As the name suggests, Sonic can go faster than the speed of sound. In the episode, we see Sonic take care of a few dozen gang members within a couple of seconds. He's so fast that most people only see a black and purple blur before they are eliminated by him. His movements are basically imperceptible to the human eye, and he can move fast enough to create after images of himself. But when it comes up against Saitama, the match doesn't go as he planned.
Checkmate.
Then there's his fight with Boros at the end of the season, where after holding back for most of the encounter, Boros launches him to the moon in a single kick. It takes Saitama less than 2 seconds to jump back to Earth. Not only is that a ridiculous distance to cover in that time, but it also means he was moving at hypersonic speeds with nothing but his raw speed, and he sticks the landing like nothing happened. Later in the manga, when Garou starts pushing his own limits, his speed is near unparalleled to the point where even when S-class heroes can't keep up. But against Saitama, Garou's attacks might as well be in slow motion. Now, to get an idea of just how impressive this is, we need to talk about Garou. Garou has an innate ability to copy anyone's moves and learn new techniques in a fraction of the time it usually takes. Rank 3 hero Bang spent his entire life developing his technique, but Garou was able to copy it like it was nothing. As the story progresses and Garou keeps getting stronger, he can copy entire abilities. When it comes to rank 1 hero Blast, who can create portals and use gravity-based attacks, an awakened Garou can copy that ability too. At this point, Garou is strong enough to effortlessly destroy anyone who comes up against him, since he can copy their attacks and then respond with his own techniques. During their fight, Garou even copies Saitama's strength, becoming as strong, as durable, and as fast as him. But even with all of this, Saitama is growing so fast in real time that Garou, a person who can master techniques within a few seconds, can't keep up. Their battle happens so fast that other characters who can go at light speeds can barely even understand what's happening. But for Saitama, the entire encounter is still barely a challenge. And that brings us to the next thing on our list: durability. Like I mentioned at this point in the story, Garou is strong enough to solo basically everyone in the entire One Punch Man universe, and even most other universes out there. But Saitama can casually deflect every single blow that Garou attacks him with and respond with his own attacks. He's tanked hits that combine martial arts, raw power, and cosmic level force, blows that cause shockwaves strong enough to be felt across continents.
In that case, I'll use my own final move. Serious Punch!
Garou even tries Internal Destruction, an attack specifically meant to bypass physical toughness and shred you from the inside out. On anyone else, it would be instant death. But when it comes to Saitama, it's a mild inconvenience. Saitama's durability isn't just superhuman, it's pushing the limits of what being indestructible even means. Coming back to Boros' fight at the end of Season 1, at one point, Boros kicks him from the Earth all the way to the moon, and instead of being surprised or hurt, Saitama just looks at the moon rock, thinks, guess I should head back, before going back down to Earth. Later on in the attack, Boros used his final killing blow, an attack that nothing and no one should even be able to survive. Boros' collapsing star roaring cannon, an energy beam that can wipe the surface off a planet. But Saitama not only tanks it without a scratch, but also takes out Boros in the process. He survived in the vacuum of space, without oxygen, and has been unfazed by temperatures that should instantly freeze or boil him alive. He stood in the middle of shockwaves that can vaporize entire battlefields, shrugged off being buried under mountains of debris, and taken point-blank explosions that make nuclear blasts look like party poppers.
Incinerate! What the? It looks like I win.
Before, I mentioned that most people don't realize how fast Saitama is, and that's partly because of his durability. Saitama can survive so much that for him, getting out of the way would be a bigger inconvenience than just taking the attack head on. And that's the terrifying thing. There's never been a moment where Saitama had to try to survive something. Every world-ending strike, every monster's ultimate move, every impossible attack designed to finish him instantly, all of it just bounces off him like nothing happened. But okay, so you can't catch him and you can't hurt him, but maybe you can still tank his hits long enough for him to get bored and go away. Unfortunately for you though, Saitama takes the one punch in his name pretty seriously, which brings us to his defining trait. Saitama's strength is so beyond comprehension that even trying to measure it feels pointless. It's not just lifting heavy things or punching hard. It's raw, limitless force that doesn't scale with any known standard.
Got it. It's raining out, so let's get this over with.
He isn't just strong compared to other heroes. Other heroes don't even register on the same level. When Boros unleashed his full power, charging attacks that bend the air with their sheer pressure, Saitama matched and overwhelmed him with basic punches. Against the Deep Sea King, his punch was so fast and powerful that it didn't just end the fight, but it also changed the weather. But all of this so far is when he isn't even trying. When you really make Saitama angry, he starts using his serious attacks. And these attacks are on a whole different level. Against Boros, one serious punch didn't just stop the collapsing star roaring cannon. It tore through it, carried on through space, and split the clouds across half the planet. In his fight with Garu, his consecutive serious punches shattered the surface of Io, one of Jupiter's moons. He even grabbed Io's surface and flipped it with a single hand. All of his attacks are not just precise, but also deadly. Like the time he uppercut Carnage Kabuto so hard it turned the battlefield into a crater before the monster even had time to process what happened.
He's saying today is Saturday too. Today is bargain day at the supermarket!
His precision with strength is almost as terrifying as the strength itself. He can level a city by accident or stop short at the last millimeter to avoid killing someone instantly. In his fight with Garu, he literally sneezed so hard that a good chunk of Jupiter was destroyed. And unlike everyone else, he doesn't need to charge his attacks. Whether it's a building-sized monster, a planetary threat, or something that by all logic shouldn't be possible to hit at all, he can erase it in a single blow. If he decides to end a fight, there's only one punch his opponents will ever see, and they won't survive it. But okay, with all that strength, speed, and durability, he must have the entire world at his fingertips. He could effortlessly take care of all of his opponents and come up with insane plans to use his abilities and the environment to win every fight. But spoiler alert, when you're as powerful as Saitama, you basically just don't need to think. Remember what I said about Saitama being so durable that it's easier for him to literally tank a nuke than move out of the way? The same goes for everything in a fight. He doesn't need to think through his attacks, he doesn't need to plan his moves in advance, he simply doesn't need to do anything except punch his opponent once, and the fight is over every single time. Most of the time, his fights last longer than 1 second just because he gets bored ending them too quickly, and so waits to see what his opponents do. I've brought up the Boros fight multiple times, so let's get into it to see what I actually mean.
You were holding back, weren't you? I never stood a chance. It wasn't even a battle.
Boros is an alien from space who is the strongest in basically the entire universe. Wherever he went, he could defeat all his opponents with ease. Eventually, he got bored with it, and so he started to look for a worthy opponent. It was then that he was given a prophecy where he would then go to Earth and find an opponent who would finally be worthy, and give Boros a challenge. So he launches an all-out attack on Earth, using his minions to take care of the other heroes, while Saitama goes to the spaceship and confronts the man directly. Saitama does a few casual punches while Boros keeps increasing his attacks, leading us to the finale where Boros uses Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon. This attack could obliterate a huge chunk of the Earth and would be enough to kill almost anyone caught in its blast. But Saitama just punches Boros, dissipating all the energy of the attack, and still has enough strength to kill Boros with that same punch. And at the end of it, Boros says that Saitama was still holding back and that he was too strong.
Prophecy held true. The battle was a hard-fought one.
Yeah, it sure was.
Boros is extremely strong and could defeat most, if not all, the heroes on Earth himself. The only people who could maybe stand up to him would be Tatsumaki and Blast. And why did Saitama hold back? Simple. He just didn't want to hurt Boros' feelings. This is the entire reason we have even a show to begin with. Instead of just Saitama one-shotting everyone, he cares about the people he fights, so he lets them have their long monologues and use their attacks and have fun before he ends them.
Maybe next time there'll be less monsters around. Yeah.
When it comes to actually fighting, all of his fights end with a few precise moments. Like his fight with Carnage Kabuto, Saitama doesn't launch a flashy attack. He walks forward, waits for the right opportunity, and then uppercuts. He doesn't need to use long attacks or plan his moves beforehand. He can just react fast enough and punch hard enough to destroy anyone who stands in his path. His presence in each fight is more like a performance where he lets the battle tell him what's needed. He waits for his opponent to have their fun, and then when it's time to end things, it only takes one punch.
King of the deep, lord of the sea. That's me. All life on earth comes from the sea.
For many people, this might seem like he doesn't have much battle IQ at all, but in reality, Saitama has just gone past any need for battle IQ. When he's so strong that he can destroy anything in his path, he simply doesn't need to plan ahead. But okay, with as much strength, speed, and durability at his fingertips, he must get tired quickly, right? Wrong. Saitama's stamina isn't just endurance, it's the complete absence of fatigue. He doesn't slow down, doesn't stumble, doesn't so much as breathe heavier, no matter how insane the fight gets. When he faced Boros, it was an all-out brawl across a ship the size of a city. Boros hurled him into the walls, smashed him through metal, blasted him to the moon and back, but Saitama never once showed a flicker of exhaustion. His face stayed exactly the same, calm, unbothered, almost bored, as he got back up and kept throwing punches. During the encounter with Garou, their battle stretched far beyond human limits. They traded blows across mountaintops, through oceans, into the stratosphere, terrain after terrain collapsing beneath them, yet Saitama's body language never shifted. While Garou was panting, straining, and dripping sweat, Saitama still seemed kinda bored. Then there's the training that built him. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10-kilometer run every single day for years without rest days. In the real world, it's a regimen that would break an average person in weeks, but for Saitama, it was the foundation of stamina so overwhelming that modern heroes can't even comprehend it. Now, at first, this might seem like a basic workout for pro athletes, but when it comes to Saitama's world, everyone has a limiter. Saitama was an average person, and a workout like this would be enough to push him to his very limits. But he still kept going and pushing himself more. Eventually, he managed to push himself so much that he literally removed his limiter, meaning that he's one of the very few people in his universe who can grow infinitely. The only person who came close to him was Garou, and even in their battle, Saitama was growing faster than Garou could even comprehend. This means that, quite literally, Saitama doesn't have any limits. Every moment of every fight is proof that stamina isn't a resource for Saitama. It's a constant like gravity. He could fight for days, weeks, maybe forever, and still walk away looking like he just got up from a nap. And in theory, that should be it. Saitama is a broken character who can solo basically anyone he comes across, but his abilities go so far beyond just speed, durability, strength, and stamina.
Time for lunch?
I mentioned Blast, the #1 hero who can create portals. Saitama can literally touch the portal with his hands and interact with it as he pleases. This means that if he went into a universe like the one of Jujutsu Kaisen, where there's a lot of magic or sorcery involved, he would be able to not only interact with other characters, but also defeat them. And this isn't even talking about just how strong he can be in normal day-to-day actions like taking away a huge part of Jupiter with a single sneeze. And if all of that isn't enough, he can improve to infinity. Remember what I said about him having no limits? What that means is that he can keep growing based on the strength of his opponents. We saw this firsthand in this fight against Garou. I already talked about just how good Garou was at getting stronger. He could copy techniques within seconds and even copy entire abilities. There was nothing and no one that he couldn't copy, and eventually he even started copying Saitama's strength. But none of that was enough because every time Garou got stronger, Saitama got even stronger. Saitama is already insanely strong, and every time he comes across a tougher opponent, he can just get stronger mid-battle and defeat him. This means that there is no possible way to defeat him in the world of One Punch Man. You could try and overwhelm him with force, but his durability and stamina are infinite. You could try to catch him off guard, but he can move faster than light. Any attack sent his way would seem like slow punches. And no matter how strong you are, all of his fights will end the same way, with one punch. If you enjoyed this video, click the video on the screen. You'll love it.